Hey gang, Steve, and wanted to talk about Gorilla Glue today and why I use it on some of my knives, especially the wood-handled ones. Its properties for filling are well known. It expands as it cures, and I have a tendency to let it still be somewhat tacky when I, start to grind my knives. So on the scales. And I think it works as a perfect filler. If there's even the slightest gap, it's gone. And I really like that about it. It's not the easiest to work with, certainly, because it's the messiest to work with. But, I like it. It does the job for me. So we're going to test it. So when I do big runs of knives like these, these are Courrier de Bois. It's nice every so often just to go out and do a field test on them, see if the glue's working. Sometimes it's, metal brake work on them, just trying to bust the steel itself. Well, it's hard to get a look at grain structure, but, it's testing. So we're going to do that today. We're going to test Gorilla Glue, and we're going to get right into it right now. Hey guys, Steve, I'm back. This is a knife test, basically a scales test and a test of Gorilla Glue adhesives. For a number of years I've been going back and forth between West Systems epoxies and Gorilla Glue, and over the years I've seen very little difference in how they hold up, but you're always questioned whenever you talk about using Gorilla Glue products. And basically I decided that I'd do a scale knockoff test. So you can see this one's properly pinned. This is a piece of wenge that was scrapped, and there's a little piece of micarta that's not pinned. So the only mechanical fastener here is Gorilla Glue. So these should knock off pretty easily. The reason I did that was so I could try to wedge under it, if I can't manage to loosen it with hammers. So I really don't want to destroy the blade, so I'm going to see if I can take this off. Now, in the past with G-Flex, typically what I do is I just heat up the knife blade to, maybe 200 degrees, and that seems to give you a release of it. From the metal to wood bond, and then they're relatively easy to unpin. You can sometimes even just knock the pins through. You don't get that with the Gorilla Glue. It doesn't release like that. So, all right, here goes. Here's a little tiny ball peen, and these really should knock off easy. There you go. That was the intent. And now we're going to go over to a larger ball peen hammer. And we're going to start, beating on the scales. I guess we're going to have to hold it a little differently here. And they are not moving. They're not budging. As you can see, I'm starting to really destroy the wood. Now, part of that, of course, is there's a mechanical fastener here. And we may have to drive those out or drill them out in order to get this to separate. But just wanted to show you that, yeah, it's not breaking its bond. I'll try to loosen them up by impacting them this way the entire length. Okay, so I've really kind of hopefully separated that bond somehow, and I'm going to put it off the edge of this. And again, this is Gorilla Glue. It is not giving up the ghost, folks. So, I guess I'm going to probably try to open it up from the end. I'll drive a chisel in. We'll see if we can loosen it up that way. So I'll be back in a minute. I've got to get this thing clamped up, and we'll see if we can do it. So bear with me, gang. We're going to keep on beating on this thing. Okay guys, I'm back. So we've got it clamped pretty tight in the parrot vise. Just snug it down a little more even. Alright, so obviously that side I couldn't beat off. Didn't loosen up, didn't break its bond whatsoever. A lot of heavy impact blows there. So let's see if I can separate it here by just driving I just sharpened this chisel. I've got hopes that maybe I can get this end loose. I might have to drill out the first brass pin. So one thing I meant to mention is that this has only been glued up for 24 hours. So it's not really fully adhered yet, I don't think. I think it's probably 80–90%, you know, cured, but I know what it's like. I've tried to do this before. I know what it's like when it's been on there for a while. It's a lot tougher. So here we go. Just a simple ball peen hammer. We've got a sharp chisel, and let's start breaking it. There we go. Got it to go. Okay, that's what I was after. I'm gonna loosen this up a little bit, and I'll attack it from the other end. So give me a second. I'll do the same thing. Okay, let's see if we can loosen it up without destroying the blade. Yeah, I think you can see it's pretty hard to get it in there. I'm not hitting the metal, so I'm going to flip this over. Drive it up at an angle. Wow, didn't expect that. Okay, let's cut that first pin off. Got to go over to the bandsaw and we'll do that. So we'll do that next, and then we'll see if we can beat off the rest of this stuff. But pretty tough stuff. Okay, be right back. Okay, we're over to the bandsaw. I'm going to put a additional light on this, and let's find out. Okay, so through the first pin, I'm going to actually cut this right out of here. Alright, so let's, we'll go back and we'll try to beat this scale loose now. And without further ado. Blade's not chopped, by the way, folks. It's got 20 thousandths left on it. And I'm not afraid of holding it. But, you know, there we go. Yeah. Not gaining. Alright, gang, so I'm going to wedge it again and I'm going to pry it up. We'll see if we can loosen it up and we'll go from there. Be right back. Okay, back to it. See if we can get that to separate. There it goes. Alright, I think we got failure finally, so yeah, so I'm going to cut the rest of this off and then we'll see if we can just smash it off, you know, now that it won't have a complete mechanical fastener through both sides. So that's next. Okay, gang, so we've sliced her off, and I'm going to continue testing the other set of scales. Now, I think this will go a lot easier, simply because the only thing that's really holding it now mechanically is just the 1/8 inch connection with brass at the knife itself, so the metal pad, I should say. So we'll flip her over and get her in the vise, or on top of the vise, and we're going to beat on her again. Alright, actually looks like this pin's pulled out, so that's kind of interesting. In prying, it pulled the pin through, so, but again, so we'll be right back. I'm going to knock the pins out and Then it should come off with one hammer blow, right? Alright guys, the pins have been removed at this point. Oh, I got one left, sorry. Got to get that one out. Let's just knock you free. There we go. Alright, no pins. So we're free and clear of pins. And let's see. That simple. So, you know, mechanical fasteners doing its job. You know, that's probably the bulk of it, no matter what you use. I like the fact that, you know, it didn't just fall off. It took a pretty severe beating, so yeah. Alright, next time we'll do it with G-Flex. We'll use a West System product and see how it goes. So this is the one for 48 hours of just cure time on Gorilla Glue. Took a licking, that's for certain. Catch you guys on the next one.